Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about our expectations of the upcoming chapter of 1050 of the One Piece manga. So in chapter 1049 of One Piece, we all witness what could be the end of the conflict between Luffy and Kaido, but all things point that there are still major events to occur in the next few chapters of One Piece, and this may mark the beginning of a new era of pirates. In today's video, we're going to talk about the events that are to follow the entire battle that we left off with in 1049. And events that could change the world of One Piece. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like, or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, and if you want to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing the channel or the video with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So friends, Wano and the larger world of One Piece is about to change, starting with the events of chapter 1050 of the manga, where Luffy and Kaido's confrontation will change the course of history for all these characters present in the battle, and also characters that are far away but will still feel the effects of what has just happened on Onigashima. During the most recent chapter of 1049, we see that Luffy seems to have managed to defeat Kaido, but this defeat also brought with it a great disadvantage. Luffy is extremely tired after this fight, and it looks like his body is badly injured and some parts are even burned. To call this fight intense would rather be an understatement, and neither of these two opponents would really come out of this fight unscathed. But now that Luffy is tired and injured, he might not be able to fight anytime soon, and his body really is probably at its limit. This could mean that if any powerful enemy appears in the next few chapters, Luffy's not going to be able to do anything to help his allies. And Luffy will urgently need to find Marco or even Chopper to be able to heal his injuries, because they are quite serious. Kaido hit Luffy's body several times with some of his most powerful techniques, so it's possible he could need to be healed very urgently. Many of Luffy's allies are also tired after the confrontations they had against other opponents all throughout the island. Law, Kid, Zoro, and Sanji were the main characters in huge fights, along with Frankie and Robin, and everybody really had to pull their weight, including even Jinbei and Brook. So even though they've managed to defeat some of the most powerful enemies that Onigashima had to offer, this has also left them very drained, and somehow some have managed to regain some strength, but not to the point where they could just fight again at top level. So unfortunately, there are no longer any allies on Onigashima that could really do anything against any opponents that show up. So they gotta hope that Kaido was the final enemy of this alliance of pirates and swordsmen. But then again, we also have to remember that Zunisha is going to Wano, and the marine boats are right in front of that big elephant, also going to Onigashima, possibly to check the situation or even take advantage of things. Back to 1049, we saw that the last member of CP0 was fleeing Onigashima using the Geppo or the airwalk ability, and they were just escaping as Kaido and Luffy were clashing in their final fight, and he probably feared that the island might fall. So as he leaves the scene of the confrontation, it's possible that he's going to the marine boats to report back and debrief on the situation. Now we don't know if their goal is to just inform or if they've got some kind of plan to confront the pirates who managed to survive all of the fights, but it's very likely that this could cause big problems in the arc for whoever survived in Onigashima. Now that Onigashima is on the ground, there's no longer a need to ask for Momo to help, and since he already managed to fulfill that role of creating the flame clouds and finally getting the island down to the ground safe, Momo's gonna get to rest, because even though he didn't necessarily do much in the actual fight against Kaido, the whole mission could not have been a success if it wasn't for Momonosuke's help. And the island would have just been totally destroyed, and who knows how many countless lives would have been lost, because no matter where it would have fallen, whether it took out the flower capital or not, this would have caused massive destruction on any part of Wano it fell, and would have easily killed just about everybody inside. So in the end, Momo got to have his moment where he carried everyone and got to be his great hero against the fight with Kaido. Going back to Zunisha for a minute, we see that Zunisha is going to be coming into Wano, and as many imagine, some might think that Zunisha may take Zou off their back and place it near Wano, either where Onigashima was or perhaps somewhere near one of the other islands, because this could actually be part of some possible mission that Zunisha would have received in the past, and would have been to unite Zou and Wano so that the new island could occupy the place where Onigashima had been occupying for such a long time. And not only that, from the moment Luffy managed to awaken his fruit, Zunisha said that she was listening to Luffy's heartbeats, so they knew knew where the origin of this sound was coming from, so they're obviously going to be attracted. This could mean that Zunisha may be after Luffy or being drawn to Luffy because he would like to see the new Joy Boy of this era, so that Zunisha can pass on some ancient knowledge about the events that occurred in the past to Luffy. So in these next few chapters that Zunisha appears, many are thinking, or at least hoping, that the Great Elephant is seeking some kind of redemption or some kind of connection back to the original mission they had once had. As we discussed in other videos, many think that for generations, Zunisha has been punished to walk and wander the seas for just hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's possible that Zunisha earned this punishment because they did something against their companion Joy Boy, or at least in some way may have been responsible or leading to Joy Boy losing their life. Because even though Zunisha was his companion, it might have been that there was still this friendship and rather just a tragic end. So it would be quite amazing with Zunisha talking about the events that could have occurred with Joy Boy, but really the main point of this chapter would be the arrival of soldiers and Marines in Wano. So with the ZP-0 agent fleeing during this final clash between Kaido and Luffy, we're not exactly sure where this is going to lead. It could have been that he was called back, or that he really just saw the imminent danger of the island being destroyed, or just really wanted to go back and report on the fact that Luffy had managed to awaken his fruit. So we don't really know exactly what, but we do know that this agent is carrying a ton of information that the world government is going to want to find out about. With this information shared, we could see an admiral or an even more important member of the Marines that appear with these sailors, because the reconnaissance mission on Wano is just too risky for any ordinary Marine to look through and even travel through the locations. At the very least, I think we could expect to see a vice admiral, or maybe even a lesser admiral from the Marine ship. But they may just be in Wano again to see how the Yonko are doing against the pirates of the worst generation. But once they see what's been going on in Wano, they're gonna have to notify the world government and the Gorosei, and the increase on the bounties of all the pirates responsible for defeating these Yonkos is gonna skyrocket, especially that of Luffy, Law, and Kid, who were directly able to defeat each of their respective Yonkos. But because Luffy kinda soloed Kaido, even though he had a ton of help throughout, and it was team effort, Luffy's probably gonna get the biggest bump over that because he might be viewed as the one who single-handedly defeated the largest bounty and also the strongest creature in the world. Now, whether or not the world government shares that Luffy currently possesses the fruit of the sun god Nika, this very powerful fruit that really pretty much unleashes all of the user's creativity, we do know that that's gonna make him the main target of the Gorosei and by extension the Marines. Because if the former Joy Boy was such a problem that the world government really did something huge to erase him from history, we gotta figure that they are not gonna be too keen on the fact that Luffy could continue in this very same person's footsteps. But because we haven't gotten that order back, at this point, it's probably unlikely that the Marines are gonna really go Buster Call and try to do anything really huge against Luffy. And though Luffy and company are still really worn out, there've gotta be samurai and pirate allies that could still fight. And Yamato still, although really having take some punches even from Kaido herself, still has a lot of gas in the tank. So we hope that maybe Yamato might be the clutch that comes in and is able to at least, if nothing else, give the Straw Hats the time to get away. It's also worth noting that Yamato possesses that devil fruit that is considered the deity or the protector of Wano. This mythical creature could have saved Wano so long ago, and because of its past deeds, it was considered kind of a deity very similar to Luffy's because of the great things we've heard that Joy Boy was able to do. Joy Boy, using this fruit, made the whole world know about Nika's story, so that many people who had their freedom taken away or needed help waited for the sun god Nika to return and help free them from their bondage. And because Yamato is very loyal to Luffy and could be the very person that keeps the whole crew safe, we could also see in these next chapters that Luffy invites Yamato to join his crew. I mean, since his meeting with Luffy, Yamato has shown and told Luffy about their desire to join the crew and go on adventures just like Odin. Now, Luffy accepted, but not necessarily in that official way, so these next few chapters we might see Yamato getting the official invite to join the Straw Hats crew and becoming an official member. And Yamato might bring some great help, and not only because of the immense power of her devil fruit, but also remember she knows Odin's journal and may actually have some needed information that's going to help the crew discover the One Piece. Because remember, Odin made it to that last island with Roger and laughed. So with Wano safe, Momonosuke and Hiyori would be able to lead Wano onto a path of peace and prosperity and freeing their people who had them all their freedoms taken away when Kaido and Orochi came by and started making all of these weapons of war. And with the borders of Wano opening up, many new people will get to know this place. And moreover, it seems that Joy Boy has finally arrived in Wano. Now, whether the pirates that are still left under the command of Kaido and Big Mom choose to rise up and fight, or just run and go grab their bosses to go try and heal them, we don't really think that Kaido or Big Mom are gonna cause much more trouble if they're still alive. They're gonna need some time to recuperate, and really, since Kaido said that only Joy Boy could defeat him, this might kinda create a change in the dynamic between Kaido and Luffy. If Kaido were to see Luffy as the man who would change the world, and he was the only one capable of defeating him, Kaido would give up in his dreams and possibly share what he knows about Joy Boy with Luffy. As for Big Mom, we're not sure about whether let's be real, she's gonna survive. But whether or not she's gonna get her memory back, or we're gonna see the whole amnesia deal like we saw at the beginning of the Wano arc when she kind of washed up on the shore, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But any way you look at it, this new era of pirates, these supernova, have much more powerful characters than the old era, and many new pirates are managing to awaken the powers of their devil fruits, achieving an even higher level of power than the pirates or even admirals of the old era. And this could really change the power dynamic throughout the world. But for now, what do you think about it? Do you think that Big Mom might lose her memory, or do you think Kaido might kind of recognize Luffy and maybe have a little something to say? Also, what do you think about maybe Yamato coming on the crew, or do you think she's gonna stay back to help keep Momonosuke and Hiyori safe? Let us know in the comments below. So as we wrap up the video, I want to thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like as you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.